Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Watkins, Glen. We're about to go racing here for the GTEs. It looks like there's a Ford who's jumped the start, so that's a disaster there for whoever that is. I think that's Fridge Fernando, and it looks like we're lights out and away we go. So X-Mark gets away nicely, immediately gets the jump here on Darren Exchanger coming up towards turn 1. Fridge Fernando there in P3 just ahead of Cobb. Richie 95 in 5th. Tarakim looks like he gets away nicely, P6 at the moment. And there's the Legend Kills running in 7th place. KPC, Lyco Ranger, WD40 completing the top 10. And then we've got what's his name? Kilocrons in P11 and JDM Gunslinger P12 as we come down up towards the first chicane for the first time here in this race. X-Mark going defensive in the lead of the race. Darren Exchanger trying to get it around the outside coming into the chicane. Can't quite get that one done at the moment. The Porsche defending very nicely from the Chevy at the moment. Cobb running in P3. Good start from him. And we've got Fridge Fernando running in 4th place at the moment, driving in that Ford. He's trying to defend from Richie. Richie looking very hungry for that position. Our race winner from the previous race at Texas Motor Speedway, currently doing a good job at the moment. Goes a little bit wide there though. And looks like we got, oh, somebody's off. X-Mark into the barriers. X-Mark in the Porsche has lost it. He's losing positions. Looks like KPC is going to pick up that P5 there. So X-Mark down to 6th place. He's not too far behind the leaders though. He's still plenty of time in this race for him to get himself back into this one. But leader of this race at the moment now, Darren Exchanger. He's trying to defend. Cobb looking to the inside, making a feint. And it looks like Cobb is going to go for a very late lunge there on the brakes. And he pushes Darren Exchanger out wide. Cobb has moved himself up into P1. Incredible move there from Cobb. It was a little bit on the limit, but I would say it's hard but fair. Bit of Robbins racing between those boys, and it looks like we've got Fridge Fernando trying to defend from Richie 95 in this battle for 3rd and 4th places. KPC trying to defend from X-Mark. X-Mark had a little look to the inside of the movement corner. I think KPC's got a bit wide. No, he hasn't. He's got it right. He's still holding on from X-Mark at the moment. Lyco Ranger there in 7th place in the background, currently running in 7th place. There is the Legend Kills, currently running in 8th, just on the back of these guys, hoping to get involved in this action if these guys trip over each other. JDM Gunslinger coming into the pits. I believe that may be for a drive-through penalty. Could have been a jump start there from him. WD40 currently running in 9th place, and we've got Kilocron sat in the final top 10 spot at the moment. So Cobb getting up into the lead there, you saw with that incredibly late lunge on the brakes at the end of that little back straight section. Now though it looks like we've got Darren Exchanger looking to the outside, coming towards the first chicane. Is he going to be able to get it around him? I don't think he is. Oh, he's going to try it. No, Cobb's not having any of that. Oh, but Cobb going a little bit deep into the corner. I think Darren Exchanger may have given him a bit of a tap in the rear, which upset the balance of his car just a tad, and Cobb loses out in that exchange. So Darren Exchanger up into the lead, Cobb down to P2. If I was Cobb, I wouldn't be too happy about that one, but still time in this race for him to get himself back into it. Legend Kills sat in P3 at the moment. He's got 0.6 of a second of a gap back to Lyco Ranger. These guys battling over the final podium spot at the moment. It looks like Richie has lost a bit of time to these guys in that process. These guys who are battling over the podium have pulled away from Richie. KPC currently in 6th place. He's got Kilocrons all over back. Oh, KPC's into the barriers. Yellow flag coming through the middle sector here. Watch out, guys. WD40 gets to unscathed, but KPC there was pushing a little bit too hard, trying to defend from Kilocrons. In the end, just overstepped his braking marker a little bit, and it was a face full of barrier was the consequence. Fridge Fernando there currently running in 9th place. He's got X-Mark all over the back of him. X-Mark hasn't had the race he would have wanted to have had. He qualified in 2nd place, was up there fighting at the sharp end on the opening lap, but it's all gone horribly wrong for him so far in this one. Down in 10th position, he'll be looking to try and limit the damage. JDM Gunslinger sat in 11th place, having served that drive-through penalty on the opening lap. The man who finished in 2nd in the previous race at Texas, not having the best of races here at Watkins Glen. Going back to the leaders, Darren Exchanger's got just under a second of a gap back to Cobb. Cobb has gained a little bit on Darren Exchanger since these guys came together coming through the chicane on the previous lap, but still at the moment Cobb not quite able to get within striking distance of Darren Exchanger. It's currently Chevy versus Ferrari here at the front, but Darren Exchanger doing a very good job at the moment, just keeping himself composed, logging these laps in, and he's pulled out a bit of time to Cobb over the course of that first sector there. Gap now 1.1. It was 0.8 when they came into the chicane. Legend Kills currently sat in P3, still defending very nicely here from Richie 95. Half a second separating these guys. Lyco Rangers all by himself in P5. Got a long gap back to Kilocrons in P6. WD-40 sat in 7th place, 20 seconds off for the race leader, Daryl Exchanger. KPC looks like he's got, I don't know, that's JDM Gunslinger there with Xmart right behind him, but I think JDM Gunslinger might have just made that move on Xmart up into P9, so JDM, damage limitation for him, obviously, with that drive-through penalty that he had on the opening lap. Is Xmart going to try and make a move here on JDM Gunslinger? JDM goes defensive to the inside. He's not going to allow Xmart to go around the long way. He's holding on to that position. Very good defensive driving there from JDM in that Ford. Porsche can't find a way around him at this point. Gap at the front, 1.1 seconds, as it was between these guys, Daryl Exchanger and Cobb. They've been pretty close for the duration of this race. Cobb not able to get close enough to really pile the pressure on Daryl Exchanger just at this point. These guys are 10 seconds ahead of Richie in third. Our Frenchman currently riding in the final podium spot. As I said earlier, the former champion of Motive Racing's LMP2 division. We know he's got the talent and the pace. He's particularly good in the higher downforce cars like the Le Mans prototypes, the Formula Renaults. Those sorts of things is where Richie really does excel. But he's currently doing a good job here in his GTEs tonight. Actually won the previous race at Texas Motor Speedway road course, and he's sat on the podium provisionally here in this one. Leica Ranger still running in some clear air here in 4th place. Nobody really near him at this point. 7 seconds up the road to Richie, 6 seconds down the road to Kilocrons. Kilocrons though has got WD-40 closing the gap on him a little bit now. WD-40 was actually 0.8 of a second quicker last time around. Oh, as I say that, WD-40 tags the wall a little bit there, coming out onto the back straight. That would not have helped him one bit. He was closing in on Kilocrons for the last few laps, but that one might have upset his rhythm just a little bit. He's very wide there, riding all over the curb. He might have possibly got a slowdown penalty for that as well. But Kilocrons doing a good job here in that Corvette, that yellow Corvette. Number 4 goes a little bit wide there, coming through the penultimate corner. He will definitely have got a slowdown penalty for that one. And we're just seeing reports Xmart has retired from the race. Was qualified second, but he's had to jump out of this one. Shame there for Xmart. We knew he had the pace around this Watkins Glen track, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. Daryl Exchanger, sorry, leading this race by 4.4 seconds over Cobb. So Cobb's obviously made a mistake at some point over the course of this lap. Not quite sure what's happened to him, but he's clearly either had a bit of an excursion or maybe a hefty whack into the wall at some point. Losing a bit of time. Richie matching the pace of the front two guys, but he is 10 seconds behind Daryl Exchanger, so it's going to take an absolutely unbelievable effort from this man if he is to win this race. He would need Daryl Exchanger to make a mistake, and probably Cobb to make a mistake as well, to be honest. Can't really see Richie getting himself into contention for a win or even a second place here in this one, but a podium would be a good finish nonetheless. Looks like JDM Gunslinger's closing up a little bit onto the back of KPC at the moment. The timing screen's telling us a little lie there. It says it's 0.3 of a second. It looks considerably more than that, but still it's coming down. Kilocrons a couple of seconds ahead of WD-40 on the road. WD-40 continuing to take chunks out of Kilocrons' gap, but WD-40 in turn is being closed in a little bit by KPC and JDM Gunslinger. So he's got pressure from either side at the moment. He will be pulling up on Kilocrons in a lap or two's time if he continues this sort of pace that we've been seeing over these last few laps. Gap at the front between Daryl Exchanger and Cobb, 4.9 seconds. Daryl Exchanger's just put a lap there on Fridge Fernando. So Fridge Fernando not having the best of races in that Ford. Did jump the start, we believe, at the beginning, so that will definitely hurt him a lot. He would have had to serve a drive-through penalty for that one. I'm sure we'll be seeing Fridge Fernando fighting back in the next one. Daryl Exchanger just pulling out the gap at the front, now over 5 seconds to Cobb, doing what he has to do, managing the gap. He was 3 seconds quicker last time around. We suspect that was due to Cobb making a mistake. didn't actually catch that one on the stream. Richie's dropped a bit of time to these guys. Last time around did it with a 1 minute 49 dead, so presumably those tyres may be starting to wear off a little bit now for Richie. He's got 11 seconds back to Lyco Ranger though, so he should be okay in that P3. WD-40's got ahead of Killer Crons up into P5. He was 1.6 seconds quicker on that previous lap, so he's on a mission at the moment. Can WD-40 pick up a P4 here? He's only 3 seconds behind Lyco Ranger on the track. He's lapping a second and a half quicker per lap, so WD-40 could find himself in 4th position by the end of this race. It looks like Killer Crons is facing heavy pressure now from JDM Gunslinger. JDM, as we said earlier on, had to serve that drive-through penalty on the opening lap. Was very unlucky, jumped the start by the slimmest of margins. Didn't really gain much from it, but if you jump the start, then you've got to come in and make a drive-through penalty. And he is currently hassling the back here of Killer Crons for 6th place. Killer Crons trying to go defensive, coming out of the last corner. We're coming down the pit straight now. JDM Gunslinger pulls out to the right-hand side, coming down the hill towards turn 1. Is he going to have that one under the brakes? It looks like he does. Oh, he gets whacked in the back though. He gets sent into WD-40 there. Domino effect from those guys. Killer Crons knocked into the back of JDM Gunslinger. Then JDM Gunslinger was essentially a missile and just went firing into the back of WD-40. That's incredibly unfortunate there. A bit of a domino effect, but JDM Gunslinger in that little exchange has got himself up into P5, so it's worked out beautifully for him. KPC down to P6. WD-40, the main, well, he's the one who's really lost out in that one, because he's now down to P7. He was in P5 chasing down like a Ranger. That is incredibly unfortunate there for WD-40, and through no fault of his own, he has been caught up in an incident there. I have to say, if I was going to apportion blame for that one, I'd have to give that one to Killer Crons, because he definitely did tag the back of JDM, which forced JDM into the back of WD-40. But Killer Crons has been very clean and fair throughout this evening, so we'll let him off for that one. Obviously, mistakes can happen in racing. Darrell Exchanger though leading this race. He's got 4 seconds of a gap over Cobb at the moment, lapping in the 1 minute 42s. 2 leaders separated by 1/10 of a second on the last time around. Cobb was actually the man who was slightly quicker than the race leader Darrell Exchanger, but Darrell is just going to be wanting to see this one out. He doesn't want to push too hard. He just wants to make sure he brings the car home and brings it over the line in 1st place. Be a great result for Darrell Exchanger if he can indeed do that. Like a Ranger has got JDM Gunslinger closing up onto the back of him ever more, and looks like we've got WD-40 all over the back of KPC as we come up into turn 1. KPC goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1. WD-40, oh, getting a little bit sideways on the curb, but it looks like he's got that move done. KPC eventually losing out due to going wide at turn 1. He may have had a slowdown penalty which caused him to get well out of it, so WD-40 moves up into 6th place into some clean air. He's only got 3 seconds up the road to Like a Ranger. I think we're going to have 2 more laps including this one, so the question is now, can WD-40 get the hammer down and close in on Like a Ranger? Like a Ranger's gone very wide there, so JDM is up into 4th place. And you can see there in the background WD-40 just coming into the camera shot now in that black Ford GT, so it could be seeing WD-40 getting the move done on Like a Ranger in this last lap and a half. It's going to be pretty tight, but I'm sure that WD-40 is going to be on an absolute mission here at the end of this race. Darrell Exchanger has come on to the last lap now. Did a 1 minute 44.1 that last time around. Cobb was 0.8 faster, but he's left it too little too late, I fear. Richie coming over the line to start the final lap in 3rd place on the track. Here is JDM just about to put a lap on Fridge Fernando here. Fridge Fernando pulling off to the side of the road and allowing JDM to come through. Good driving there from Fridge Fernando, very courteous from him. Where's the race leader? Darrell Exchanger is just coming into the final half a lap now. Was let off the hook a little bit by a mistake from Cobb, And Exmart, we knew he had the pace to take the fight to Darrell Exchanger in this race, but it just wasn't to be for him. But Darrell in that yellow Corvette, number 3, beautiful livery, I've got to say, is about to take his first win in the motive racing community, his first race I've ever seen him in, and he has burst onto the scene in the best possible way. Darrell Exchanger fought off the challenge of Cobb and anybody else. He's been the quickest man out there tonight, and he is going to take the checkered flag here at Watkins Glen. Darrell Exchanger is the winner. Brilliant performance from him. Cobb is going to come around to take P2. Solid job from him. Richie's going to take his second podium in as many races. It's not going to be the dub that he got in the previous race at Watkins Glen, but certainly a solid job from Richie. Crosses over the line. P3 for Richie. JDM is going to come around in P4. Could have been much better for him, but it's just unfortunate in that he just had the drive-through penalty on the first lap, which put paid to his chances of having a strong result. JDM comes over the line, P4. Like a Ranger, looks like he is just about going to hold on here ahead of WD-40. P5 for Like a Ranger. WD-40 will be ruining that little incident that happened in turn 1 a few laps ago. If it wasn't for that, I reckon he would have been a P5. He holds on ahead of KPC for P6 though. KPC P7. Killer Crons comes over the line to inherit P7. KPC with a penalty from the race director. And Fridge Fernando crosses the line. 9th place for him. Great racing from the boys. Darrell Exchanger taking the win. Cobb and Richie completing the podium. Excellent stuff from everybody involved. Guys on the track and in the lobby waiting for the next race to start. If you want to get involved in some clean sim racing action throughout the week, then Motive Racing's leagues start up again on Monday the 4th of January. That is 4 days time. If you want to get involved, go to motiveracing.com and get yourselves involved in the action. Multiple leagues and project cards too. Also leagues on ACC and F1 2020. If you want to get involved, you know what to do. motiveracing.com. Back in a moment.